this is Arunava Chaudhuri and you are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. Tuesday, March the 25th will mark the start of the final round of the AFC Asian Cup 2027 qualifiers, and our Indian national football team will be facing Bangladesh in Shillong at the Jawaharlal Nehru with a 7 p.m. kickoff. And so far, Manolo Marquez as India coach. It have been friendlies, tournaments, but it counts now. It counts from tomorrow onwards, because these qualifiers will decide where Indian football will head over the next 2-3 years. Not only that, it will also decide, if we qualify for the AFC Asian Cup, what kind of a group could we get for the 2030 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. So all of these things are always interlinked. So therefore, the honeymoon period for Manolo Marquez is over, and the real work starts now. And the first ever official match in Shillong for an Indian national team, we just had the friendly against the Maldives last week, a fluid 3-0 for the Indian national team. We were finally back to winning ways after no win in 2024. We finally scored 3 goals after a long while since the SAF Cup 2023. So there are a lot of positives. But of course, we've had injuries with Alinzwala Changte and Manvir Singh missing out the whole window now in March, while Brandon Fernandes injured himself in the game against the Maldives. That's meant that Utanta Singh makes a comeback, a deserving comeback, what I think, and the first call-up for the young, talented MacArthur Nixon. I think Manolo had a choice between picking maybe a more experienced player or picking someone talented. It seems to have worked with Ayush Chetri, who played a good game against the Maldives. So therefore, Manolo has decided to give MacArthur a chance. And I guess to some extent also will be a factor that MacArthur has played thrice at that ground in Shillong, because it is different than the condition would be in a Kolkata or a Mumbai or a Goa. It's a little cooler, it's a little moist. All these things are factors. And Bangladesh most likely will not be pushovers, because the big story in our neighboring country has been that of Hamza Chaudhuri, the player of Bangladeshi origin, the Leicester City midfielder who's on loan at Sheffield United at the moment in the Championship, has finally joined the Bangladesh national team. So therefore, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of expectations. But for us, on the other side, as the Indian national team, it's something to discuss another day. But I feel it's a good thing that captain, leader, legend Sunil Chhetri is back, and he scored against the Maldives. And yeah, the desire, the fire, the hunger is there in Sunil. And that is what the Indian team needs. I think the interesting one will be, what does Manolo do? He made some interesting decisions in regard to the team in that match against the Maldives. Someone like a Sandesh Jingan rested, Apuya didn't start. So he did give some of our senior players a little bit of a rest, because they've played quite a bit of football over the last few months. And another big question for Manolo will be, at the time of recording, it's not clear if Vishal Keth or Amrinder Singh would be starting in goal for India. So there's a few questions for Manolo to answer. Who will be right back? Who will be left back? Who is going to replace Brandon in the starting lineup? Does he stick to his winningers, or does he make some changes? There's a lot of questions that Manolo still needs to answer, that his team will need to answer. I guess the support will be great for the Indian national team against Bangladesh. I hope that the fans in Shillong come out in big numbers and support our team. Make it a hostile atmosphere for our neighbors from Bangladesh. Again, make it hostile, but don't go overboard with that, as I always like to say. And therefore, yeah, a real test, because we need the 3 points, because those 3 points could take us closer to qualification for the AFC Asian Cup. And that's the final goal. How we play, how we don't play, that's not the question for us. It's about the 3 points. In this kind of a game, I take a dirty 1-0 if it needs to be, or a dirty 2-1. It doesn't matter. For us, what matters tomorrow night will be that India win against Bangladesh. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you have something to add, or should I have mentioned something else? Write those down in the comments below. Let me know who you think will win, What result do you think will come out? And as always, like, share and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com, and I'll be back very soon. Arunava Chaudhuri signing off. Bye for now.